This is Dating Skills Review with Introduction to Dating Advice, mini course. Part 7, How to Understand Women. If you're a guy, you've been hearing one thing most of your life. Men don't get women. You've been reading it in women's magazines or men's magazines. You've had your girlfriend telling you, your sister telling you, you've had girls at school telling you, at university. Basically, it's all around you. Why is that? Because it's true. Women are different, and most men tend to think that they think the same way. So um, we have to get out of our heads a little bit here and have a look at how the female thinks. So if you've been hearing stuff like "you never listen to me," "you don't understand me at all," then you're one of these guys, which is mostly most men. It's probably about 90% of them that doesn't get women. If she is disappointed by a gift or surprise you give her, it's pretty much the same thing. If she says things like "we're so different," it's even worse. You know nothing about relationships. This is where if you get girls saying these kind of things, your girlfriend, for example, then it's actually becoming quite dangerous to your relationships. It's so hard for us to communicate. If she tries to get you to read relationship books or magazine articles, that's basically a cry for help. She's asking, please, please understand me better. There are some men who do get women. They're in the minority, but they're out there. And if you're one of those, you'll hear things more like, "I love how you get me. We're so alike. I love how you don't take me too seriously." When she's a bit emotional about something, girls like it when you don't get destabilized by that because you just understand. That's the way they are. It never gets boring with you. She jumps with joy from gift or surprise that you give her, right? Because you understand her, you know what she likes. Right? Women ask you for dating and social advice. This is a huge one, right? And I can tell you, once you get good at this stuff, it happens all the time. You know, um, it's quite ridiculous, and you learn a lot more from that. Every weekend, I'm talking with women about this stuff. Men ask you for advice on women, and that's another sign because men can see that you're good with women just by the way you interact with them if they hang out with you, and they'll start asking you for advice. So if you really do understand women, you're going to be getting some of these signs, and you can feel a little bit more secure in that. A dating skills review, we call all of this area of understanding women, it's a foundational skill set, it's psychological principles. It helps you to get better in all areas of your dating life. It supports all the other skills. But what are we talking about exactly here? Let's give you a real idea of what kind of things you could learn which would help you to understand women better. Well, first of all, you can understand the hormonal and psychological differences between men and women. You know, the way people interact are driven by hormonal changes, right? So you'll know that a guy with higher testosterone and other guys will act more aggressive, for instance. Well, can you imagine the differences there are with women and men because of this and their behaviors? So, hormones affect psychological uh, behaviors, and learning more about that, you just get women. You get when they're acting a bit differently to what you would expect. Why women are more emotional than men? It's pretty much the same thing, but in more detail. What is attractive to women initially and long term? This is really really important to understand properly, right? Because most men aspire to attract women, their dream girls, successful women, intelligent women, beautiful women. So you have to understand exactly what is attractive to these type of people, and it's not at all the same as what attracts men, and that's why it's difficult to get, right? And it's also different when it comes to the short term and the long term for biological reasons, for evolutionally programmed reasons. Once you understand that, depending on what type of relationships you want, short or long term, um, you can start communicating in that way, and you understand when she needs something else from you. Difference in how women communicate. Women communicate on different levels to men, so it's a lot less direct a lot of the time, uh, and most guys do not hear what the women are saying. A woman could be point blank feeling that she's told you things, and you would just not understand it. So when you understand the ways in which they communicate and the emphasis they put on different things, then all of a sudden you start seeing what they're actually saying to you, and you can imagine how many problems that gets rid of. What is most important to women in relationships? Obviously, different to men, and why though? It's really helpful to understand how often women cheat on men and why. Now, this is a biggie because this is like a lot of men's big fear, and if you're a kind of guy who gets jealous quite kind of often, uh, then if you learn about why this happens, then you can feel a lot more secure in your relationships because you'll understand when she will cheat and why she would cheat. And on the other side, flip side, when things are good, you'll understand that she's not likely to cheat, right? What is love really and what it is not? Girls are always talking about this, and there's a lot of stuff in the media. But what is love really? Well, it comes down to biological processes and the way we feel. It's a feeling, but it's biologically programmed in us. And if you want to understand how that affects you in the short term, the medium term, and the long term, and how it can be developed in the short and the long term, then you have to really understand those processes and what leads to it. Understanding women is an important skill set that you can learn more about from Dating Advice for Men. That's all from datingskillsreview.com today. Check us out if you want to learn more about dating advice for men.